apparently. Hey, one question for the semi-finals, though, because I was just kind of thinking how best to wrap this up. In our semi-finals, what is the core role throughout these 4 teams that will influence each semis? Does it line up? Do you say that jungle is going to influence each semi-final?
I mean, by default, yeah. But
Okay.
I think it's kind of hard. It feels like there's so many moving parts at the moment between like the jungle support synergy,
Yep.
you're also jungle mid synergy. I think there's a lot that you kind of got to try and break down. But I think a cop out would be jungle, but
Like, I think a cop-out would be jungle support.
Yeah.
So I want to take this a different way. A surprising role that I think is going to have a massive impact is top lane.
Good.
Because, again, when we look at the top laners who we have left, like Bin has been one of the places Suning funnels resources into. 369 has had games that he's carried by himself. Again, he's had some great Wukong games, some great Kale games coming out. So I think top lane on the top side is going to be extremely impactful. Then we look at the bottom half of the bracket. Zoom is Zoom is Zoom.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually going to take it an opposite way. I'm going to go the other side of the map. I'm going to go a bot lane. I think when you look at Loken, Kramer, Huanfeng, Jackie Love, like these are names that are going to be ingrained in people's minds. So I think right now, with Loken playing the best, like Loken for me is the best AD carry in the LPL right now. I don't think you agree with me, but and then you got Jackie Love, who went on form is the best clutch AD carry in the LPL. So I think there's a lot to kind of break down here and digest, but I think AD carries are going to have a surprising impact in this because I feel like if you can get one of those guys ahead, they're more than capable of carrying a game.
Well, why don't you agree? What AD carry you think is the best?
my top 3 is probably Huanfeng, Zhou. Oh my God, who am I missing? I know I had one more person above
Jackie
Logan.
Love.
Oh, Jackie Love. There we go. That one was
yeah.
easy.
What about left in playoffs though? Of our 4.
Probably Huanfeng.
Okay, so Huanfeng, you'd say
Well,
you think.
So it depends, because it's just like Dagger just said, right? Jackie Love, when is having those high highs, is set up to do well, is like the best AD carry in China easily. I'd say the most consistently high level AD carry we have is Huanfeng, to where Loken was in my top 4 like throughout the whole split. I'd actually have him 4th, but I think Huanfeng and Jackie Love just kind of a bit above him for me.
And then Kramer, what at the bottom at the moment for you in playoffs?
Kramer's just weird because I think Kramer all splits been like good, but hasn't been like a standout like he was last year. But against IG, Kramer was insane. So, yeah, I don't want to put too much weight in 1 or 2 series. Despite the fact these are playoff series, they should hold the most weight. Like, I want to see more.
I'm glad, because I really wanted your take on impactful roles. I think we talk about it a lot in broadcasts as to the matchup to watch. Then progressing forward, before we get into the regional gauntlet, I just want to quickly get some theory crafting from you. Finals, LPL, tell me who wins it all. I want something hard.
Oh,
I want something. I'll start for you. Hang on. hang on.
I want something hard hitting, right on the money. Let's go. I need a second.
TSJ LGD final, and then somehow LGD win 2020 summer. Your turn.
You just did a hard-hitting statement for it to be a hard-hitting statement.
No. I genuinely believe that.
So I think we're going to have a rematch of Spring. I think we'll probably, most likely we'll get Top Esports against JDG.
Okay.
And I'm actually surprisingly going to inch it back to JDG.
Oh.
Like, I don't know what it is about JDG. Again, like a lot of their gameplay was very much like Suning, where it was kind of hard to put your faith in for a lot of the ways they got their wins. But I still think throughout the year, JDG have shown us that they are a very smart team. They're very good in draft, and they have a good read on what their priority should be, and they consistently go to that in a best of 5 like they did in the finals against TS. So
yeah.
I have faith that JDG can pull it out. I don't know what the score will be, but I have confidence in JDG.
Okay.
I think I can't have the same faith in JDG right now after watching them. Like, I think Kanavi has looked really, really good on picks like the Lee Sin and that. I think Loken has looked amazing. I still think Yagao is underperforming. I think Lumao is actually having a really bad split as well. Especially if you get him off of something like the Bard, he just doesn't really seem to have the same impact. So I think it's going to be Top Esports who take it.
So who's your final? Is it JDG Top Esports final? You think?
Well, I just said LGD, so I think it'll be Top LGD. Yeah. So I think I think Top Esports will take it. I think. Look, it's hard to knock down the caliber of players that are on Top Esports.
So that means, Lyric, you have Top Esports and JDG going to Worlds no matter what. Because if Top Esports, JDG make to finals, both of them are guaranteed to Worlds. Due to auto qualifying points for the runner-up having enough over any other team that
I think, let's be honest, even if they don't make it to finals, either one of them, I think they both go to Worlds.
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there.
You know,
right now.
also, if LGD beat JDG and JDG, I'm pretty sure they still get 4th place. They will have 100 points. LGD need to win the championship. Second will not auto-qualify them because they will only have 90 points because that's second. JDG have 60 from Spring. They'll get 40 bare minimum. They will auto-qualify to Worlds. So LGD need to win it all, and Top Esports would come second. So that's my theory right there. So I think LGD, Top Esports, going to Worlds, right, with LGD winning it all. So that's why, now you understand why I said LGD winning it all. Dag, do you put LGD in finals?
Yeah.
Which means not winning it out, you think Top Esports would?
I think just eke them out, yeah.
Which means Top Esports will be guaranteed, but you need a second seed, which would be JDG as well.
JDG, yeah. And
Right.
then I think LGD and IG make it through Gauntlet.
All right, hang on. Cowboy, you want to run the show? Yeah, you can have the laptop. Let's go into the Gauntlet
Look at
this
me,
week.
I'm the captain now.
The 10-minute conversation has just been summarized. There you go.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about Gauntlet as we run through. We've already theory crafted with some teams like JDG, Top Esports making it Worlds. People might say crazy hysterics. Said LGD. I want you all to calm down. It could be true. EDG is on your screen if you're watching from YouTube, and so is WE. But forget about them. Right now, that doesn't matter. What you will be seeing, I believe, as we'll get this fixed up, because IG and FPX are guaranteed into the playoff gauntlet. They are, however, on the bottom side of the bracket. They are in the elimination match. IG and FPX cannot move any further up. So that means out of the top 4 teams with JDG, Top Esports, Suning, and LGD, the 2 that do go into the regional gauntlet will be straight into that 3rd seed qualifying match, which is big when you consider that if it's Suning and LGD as the underdogs, that's huge to be qualifying for 3rd seed of Worlds and get a second chance for 4th seed if you lose out.
True. They won't have to go through play-ins, right? They'll get seeded right into groups.
Which would be absolutely massive for teams that in spring, Suning, wait, they didn't make playoffs. LGD didn't make playoffs in spring.
No, so there's the Suning curse. The Suning have made it. The last 3 years, they've only made playoffs in summer. Every single year. So, yeah, and then LGD, it's been, 5 years now? 4.5 years?
2016 spring?
Yeah, since they made it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So, let's continue our theory crafting. IG FPX, we can maybe talk briefly about the matchup. We already mentioned them in our quarterfinals and our round 1. Do you want anything to add onto this as to who you kind of think and why would be progressing?
Can I just walk you through my regional bracket?
Okay, walk me through. That's easier. Go for it.
So, again, I have Top Esports and JDG qualifying for finals.
Okay.
So first round's going to be LGD Suning. Suning's going to take it. I think LGD goes out.
Oh, my Lord.
I really like the way that Suning played against Victory 5. I really hope they recreate that style. I think that, fast, aggressive, put your foot on the gas pedal type of League of Legends is the hardest way to answer playing. I feel like it's why China's been so dominant for the past few years. I don't think Kramer and Mark are going to find those lane advantages up against Huanfeng and Sword Art. Bin looks absolutely exceptional. I'm afraid of the things he can do to Longxing. And despite the fact that I do think Peanuts looks better than SOFM, I think SOFM and Angel will be able to hold that aggression. I really like the way that Suning were performing in early skirmishes, so I think they'll come out ahead, maybe a 3-1 scoreline. Suning are going to Worlds.
All right.
IG are going to beat FPX. FPX just look bad. The thing is, even with IG getting 3-0'd by LGD, it's man, FPX don't look like they have any idea of even how to play on this patch or in this meta. Again, drafting the Lilia, continuously taking the Kalista into bad matchups. They mechanically aren't playing well.
True.
It's going to be Duinby against the world. And when you're Duinby against the world, facing Rookie, I'm sorry, but...
The other world.
Exactly. I don't think there's any chance. I expect a pretty decisive win from IG, which is a reverse of our 3rd place match from Spring, actually.
Yes, it is.
And then IG will beat LGD.
Hang on. All right. Well, you gotta explain that. If it's 4th seed qualifier,
yeah.
If it's left to LGD and IG, what? Just because of IG?
Kind of. I said it before. I honestly feel like IG are a team who shows up when people don't believe in them and when it truly matters.
You know
most.
what you're saying is IG make it to the very last match of the gauntlet once again, second year in a row.
Yes.
What would the scoreline be? Another best of 5 that goes to 5 games?
Yes, I expect a 3-2 final against LGD where hopefully, I don't even know if they're going to keep using Battleland, but again, to me, as long as they can show up that bot lane, whether they're going to do it through reinforcing with jungle pressure with Ning getting down there earlier or something along those lines, they're going to draft smarter because I agree, even though I'm fine with IG's drafts in isolation, throwing that it's an IG caveat, you're not going to win with those drafts up against legitimate teams.
True.
So they're going to need to go back to, you're saying, that top esports style where they were drafting really nicely, very coherently, And if they do that, I don't think they're just going to get shut out in the early game like they did against LGD. And if they don't, I mean, we've seen the clutch factor come in from IG's members so many times. So, Suning and IG.
Okay, so Suning is the highest. It would actually be kind of hilarious. But at this point, just a heads up for our audience, if it's IG or FPX, whoever to progress through, because one has to go through the 4th seed qualifier, they can't get 3rd seed. It's only 4th seed.
Yes.
So we are going to potentially
play-ins
have a world champion at play-ins as a 50% chance, unless LGD/Suning can beat them, or if it is a team like Top Esports. But again, if it's Suning or LGD that go through, one of those teams have to win the championship. Otherwise, runner-up, with the way things have gone, unless it's Top Esports getting 4th place into 80 points.
All I know is you guys made me realize how anti-LGD I am.
I've realized. I will just quickly clarify this. If Top Esports get 4th, Suning or LGD can get runner-up, and they will auto-qualify. Top Esports need to get 4th, though. Just so everyone knows. But if JDG get 4th, they're in no matter what. So JDG, if they're in the finals, they qualify. If they get 4th, they qualify. Unless it is Top Esports in that final to come 2nd. Was that good explanation?
I honestly feel like it's just simpler to walk through our individual brackets.
Anyway, so you put JDG, Top Esports, Lyric, going in, again, sorry, Top Esports is first.
Yep.
Sorry, JDG's
first. I have JDG first seed, Top Esports second, Suning, and then IG.
Which I just love. Thank you so much. Now, Dagda, because by the way, I'm going to do one of these as well, because I just throw you guys off.
We need you to have
I've been saying things about LGD. I can't end there. Dagda, you're up. How do you top this? Run me through your bracket.
I think it'd be top JDG.
Yeah, because you put LGD in finals.
Yeah.
So if
they still end up in the
3rd seed,
gauntlets.
but they will have the highest seed, so I believe greatest side selection.
Yeah. So either way, it's still going to be
Clarify.
top moving forward, JDG moving forward off of championship. Well, top winning JDG off of championship points. Then it'll be LGD versus Suning in that top of the bracket for Gauntlet run. I think LGD win that. The reason I see it is I think with Mark having that impact in the roaming stages, I know Sword Art does it a certain amount as well. I think that Mark and Peanut have looked so strong, and I still think Suning have looked good. I just don't think they've looked